Hello and welcome to Home with the Mossbergs. I thought I'd make a little day in the life video because why not? So this morning I actually met a friend for coffee. So this starts later in the morning, probably around noon. Um, I am somebody who leaves my dishes from the night before and cleans them the next morning. I really want to break the habit, but that is just who I am these days. So, taking care of business first, I am doing the dishes, cleaning off that portion of the counter. And we love our hummingbirds around here. So, I'm always making hummingbird food. I make a big batch, so I usually have extras, which I will store in a mason jar or an empty bottle. And I like to keep that under the sink to have to refill those feeders in a pinch if I don't have time to make fresh food for them right when it is empty. So this morning, before I left to meet my friend for coffee, I started a loaf of sourdough. This is actually my sourdough pizza dough recipe, but I am making it into a focaccia for dinner tonight because we are going to my in-laws' house to have dinner with my husband's grandparents and his parents. So I thought I might as well bring some bread. I also love to buy like those big bags of onions at the grocery store. So here I am storing them in this cute bunny basket that my mother-in-law gave us for Easter. I have been using it as a fruit basket, but we are out of piles of fruit right now. So in go the onions because why not? And of course, there's always laundry to be done around the house. Here I am doing Katara, our daughter, her cloth diaper laundry. We love using assembly diapers. They go in the wash, 2 cycles, once to rinse everything kind of out, and then another to really deep clean them. They have their own detergent that goes in with it and little balls to kind of beat out anything that could be stuck to the diaper. And then, like I said, always laundry needed to be done, so throwing another load in. Our laundry room is also our daughter's nursery, so you can probably see there all her clothes and some books in that closet as well. Luckily, she still sleeps in our room with us, so we don't have to worry about her trying to sleep while all of this is running. And now back to the kitchen. Time to tackle the mess on this portion of the kitchen counter. I made a cake yesterday, so I have to clean up all of that good stuff from making that cake. And of course, if you make sourdough, there's always sourdough starter on the counter. You know this. I have to put that back in the fridge since I'm not planning on making any today. And I never know where to store these giant bags of sugar, so I'm always shuffling things around in my cabinets to make room. And I am recording this at a later date, so you can probably hear my daughter, who in this clip right here I am putting down for a nap because naps are important for 8-month-old babies, as you know if you are a mother. After my daughter's nap, I have to go down to our garage and grab a giant bottle of olive oil so I can finish out making this focaccia bread for tonight. Usually I would leave my focaccia in the fridge overnight to bulk ferment, but I'm doing this all in one day, so I have to get everything ready for that. And on my way to get the olive oil from the garage, I noticed these poor irises laying on the ground, so I thought I might as well clip them and put them in a vase so that way they aren't just sitting in the dirt wasting away. I can at least make a pretty space on my kitchen counter using those irises. I love just simple vases like this white one right here. I do love glass vases, but I don't always love seeing the stems of all the flowers. So this simple white is perfect to complement these kind of rust red irises. My mother-in-law actually gave me these bulbs. Are irises from bulbs or tubers? I'm not exactly sure what irises are, or rhizomes, one of those, but they are absolutely stunning. Katara thinks so too. So anyway, brought those in to brighten up the kitchen counter. And then there is always eggs to be collected, so I have to go collect those eggs. I have my chickens kept in an electric netting, so that way predators do not get to them. We had bobcat issues in the past. Thank goodness we haven't seen the bobcat in a little over a year. It was becoming a real issue for us at one point, but I'm thinking maybe a neighbor got it, or hopefully it just moved away. And today I only collected 2 eggs, both of our brown layers, which is strange because we've been getting eggs daily for the past week or so from every chicken. But maybe since it was kind of an overcast day, the ladies were just taking a little break. And if you collect farm fresh eggs, you can store them at room temperature on the counter if they are unwashed. If you wash them, you will take away their protective barrier, which keeps them safe for room temperature. So this is where we store all of our eggs. I'm actually interested in looking into one of those spiral ones, so I don't have to keep shuffling them around every time we get new eggs. I would just be able to drop it in the top of the spiral and then pick from the bottom, you know, first in, first out kind of deal here. Now onto the focaccia. I have it in my pan I will bake it in, and I'm squishing the little holes into it. And since this is actually my sourdough pizza dough recipe and not a focaccia recipe, it wasn't big enough to fill the pan in. It still turned out tasting good, not quite what I would want from a focaccia, but it did the job, and I could do it all in one day like I had to do here because it's been a little bit chilly the past week, so my sourdough starter hasn't been rising as quick once I have fed it. So I pop that in the oven. It only takes about 30 minutes to bake. And in that meantime, of course, the laundry is done by now. So I store these in my daughter's changing table, her cloth diapers, of course. And when she was first born, I would lay them all nicely in the changing table drawer. They'd be in stacks. I'd make sure they were flat and didn't have really big kind of wrinkles in the diapers. But now that we are about 8.5 months in, I'm just throwing them in there. I'm not being super neat. I just toss them in, and right before I put them on her, I'll kind of fan them out and bang them on my knee to get all those wrinkles out. But I just don't have the patience to really make them look all nice and tidy in the drawer now. And it's not really necessary. It was more of just, that new mom feeling of wanting to do everything perfect. I'm used to being a mom now, so we're just throwing them in the drawer. Here we have the focaccia. As you can see, pretty thin, thanks to it not filling out the pan and being enough dough. Although it did taste pretty good. For Easter this year, I made a focaccia stuffed with ricotta cheese, or it was a ricotta and egg mixture with chopped thick chunks of pepperoni and ham, and it was so delicious. I'm going to make that every year for Easter. It's actually called Easter pizza in my family, and usually it's just a white bread dough. But this year, since I'm going all aboard the sourdough train, I made a sourdough focaccia version, and it was absolute perfection. Everybody loved it. And I tasted this focaccia, and I had my husband taste it too, and he said, you know what? This would be really good dipped in olive oil and vinegar. So I'm getting that here now. This is vinegar that my dad brought back from Italy and gifted to me. It is so good. It's super sweet, not very acidic like the vinegar you would get from the store. It's kind of more thick, and this was the perfect addition to this focaccia. And of course, for the dinner tonight, I am bringing this chocolate espresso bundt cake. And that is about all we have for today. So thank you for hanging out with me today in my kitchen and my laundry room. I hope to see you next time here at Home with the Mossbergs.